Yeah, the question is, how can we reach out to these pro-life young people who may not get the full understanding of what the conservative movement is all about? Let me just first, one of the other reasons that young people are pro-life is because they are a visual generation. We all know that, right? It's a standard pose, right? This is the pose. See any young kid, it's like this, right? Or if they have a tablet, like this.
And adults, too.
And more and more adults. But they are a visual generation. And they cannot square in their own minds what that sonogram picture looks like and say that's not a child. The reason we're winning is because we can show the truth. And so part of one of the reasons I decided I want to get involved in the entertainment side is because it's a wasteland. You don't see the truth. We need to start encouraging bright men and women not to go into the widget business, but to write screenplays, to act, to produce, to put resources in there, to start communicating with people on how they learn and how they communicate in America today. And so to me, that's part of it. We have to form. Hollywood is forming the minds of our young people. Even folks who go to church, they go to church, what, an hour a week? I mean, that's, one probably 50th of the hours they spend consuming content, whether it's gaming or whether it's movies or whether it's television. And unless we compete for that visual space and begin formation, because it's all about formation. And you can have great parents who instill values, but unless you homeschool or find a great school that shares your values and is willing to teach them. You mentioned Catholics. There are a lot of Catholic schools in name only. There are a lot of Christian schools in name only. They're prep schools. But they don't teach the faith. They don't teach the truth. Because if they did, they'd lose some financial support and they'd lose students. You show me a big Catholic high school, I'll show you a school that could not possibly be teaching the truth. Because they wouldn't be big if they did. Not in this culture. Can't be. Unless they're constantly fighting parents every day. Same thing with the church. They have to not just preach the truth, but they have to teach it. They have to provide visual help. You gotta meet people where they are. And so the answer is we have to engage young people visually if we're going to be successful in our effort. Donna.
Tell about your film, Our Sacred.
Well, I did a film with Citizens United called Our Sacred Honor. I think if you go to Patriot Voices, which is my organization that Karen and I started right after the election, started an organization called Patriot Voices. We called it Patriot Voices because we met so many patriots. And I kept hearing as I traveled around the campaign trail, they said, "You're giving voice to what I believe in." So I thought, well, let's see if we can continue to be the voice of patriots out there. And so we started that organization. Dave Bossy from Citizens United came to us and said, he watched me during the campaign and he heard me talk about the Constitution, the Declaration. He said, let's do a movie about what you were talking about on the campaign trail. And so we did a movie. It's actually much better than what I talked about on the campaign trail because it was visual. And we got a lot of really wonderful folks like Mark Levin and a lot of great scholars to come and talk about the real roots of our country, who we are. I mean, we've got to teach young people who we are. Because if they don't know who we are, then they don't know what they're missing. Amen. And so that was part of doing the doing the video series. I have a book out called American Patriots, which is, again, a bunch of stories of people long forgotten by history at the Revolutionary War time and how they stood by those founding principles. So to me, that's another part of what I feel like I have to do, is go out and teach and have teaching tools, visual tools, to be able to help impart that knowledge to the next generation. Patriot Voices is the organization that I encourage it. I mean, it would be a big help to us if you'd sign up. If you can contribute, that would help too. To Patriot Voices is patriotvoices.com is our website, and we're organized. I mean, the two things we've gotten involved with since the election was, one was the Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities, and was a UN treaty that Mike Ferris, who I know Phyllis knows very, very well from the Homeschool Legal Defense Fund, called me and said, there's this treaty that's going to pass. It's going to destroy parental rights in this country. It's going to undermine and put the UN in a position and the government in a position to, in between, particularly parents and their disabled children. And I read it, and he was right. And they've tried to pass this off, oh, we're just trying to encourage other countries to adopt disability standards. Baloney. And Mike says, look, he called me and said, if you could oppose it, that'd be great. He said, we're not going to win this. He said, we'll lose. I mean, we got a Republican chairman of the committee who's a conservative Republican, John Barrasso from Wyoming. He's for it. Bob Dole's for it. John McCain's for it. All the veterans groups are for it. You know, all these disabled vets. And he says, we're not going to win. He said, but we need to put up the fight. And I said, well, if we're going to put up the fight, we're going to win. We're going to try to win. And I did something I'd never done before. Karen and I went to the Hill, and we brought Bella, because Karen was so passionate about this, that somehow the federal government was going to do what is in the best interest of our child. If you look at the literature with Bella's disability, it's trisomy 18. The medical literature says incompatible with life. So what's in the best interest of my child? It's certainly not to give her the care that she's been getting. And so we did a press conference, and unbelievably, we were able to defeat that treaty. We got 38 votes, almost every single Republican. I know we defeated it because John Kerry rushed up to the Senate gallery and held a press conference right afterwards and blamed me for the loss.